Good afternoon, you majestic bastards. Maybe you're not all majestic. I don't know. But I get a lot of emails with sort of like basic questions. What is this? What is that? And saying, would you mind doing a video on that? And I'm like, well, you forget that some people who watch this video are experts way more than I am. Some people just started riding. Some people are not even, they don't even ride motorcycles. They're just curious. But today I thought we'd talk about what are the stages of performance upgrades on a motorcycle. Some of you are already immediately going, that's a stupid topic. Well, A, I don't think it's a stupid topic. B, don't assume everyone knows as much as you do. And the great thing about this channel is the whole idea is for us to talk. So comment down below, give your thoughts, opinions, this, that, and the other. And then if you are new to riding, or if you're new to Harleys in general and you're just sort of curious, comment questions. If I don't answer, someone else will answer, but I'll probably answer because I read every comment. But what this question was basically is it came in through my email and said, I see a lot about stage 1, stage 2, stage 74, stage 12-9er. What does all this stuff mean? And what do I need to do? And what are your opinions on it? So I thought, well, that'd be kind of a fun thing to just sort of chat about. But I'm going to use my Heritage Cholo bike here as sort of an example when we talk about this stuff, when I point things out. So basically, and also I'm going to do this real basic terms. So if I say something that you're like, but he didn't talk about a head pipe in a stage 1, I'm just saying basic terms, right? Also, there are certain stages that are not commonly done, so I may not go all the way into those, but here's your basic beginning biker stuff. What are the stages of Harley Davidson upgrades? So first off, stage 1. Stage 1, to put it loosely, is to change your air cleaner, your exhaust, and to tune it. Now, where that might get into sort of areas of people like, well, what about this? What about that? A lot of dealers, if you buy a new bike, they're going to tell you stage 1, if it's a touring bike, it's your air cleaner, a tune, and mufflers. Just mufflers. Some people are going to say, well, it can't really be a stage 1 if it doesn't have a head pipe change out also. We're not going to get into that sort of weeds. I'm just saying that a stage 1 is generally your air cleaner, a high flow air cleaner, because from the factory, the motorcycle is freaking can't get a breath because it is a restrictive intake, or a restrictive air cleaner. So it's a high flow air cleaner, a high flow exhaust, and a tune job to make it all run right, to balance your sort of air in, gases out kind of thing. That is, I was actually doing a little research, like what is the real difference here? It depends on the bike, but you pick up a couple horse. It's not life-changing. What it really does is it gives you sound. So that's why almost every Harley that I know, they don't even leave the dealer stock. Normally it's like, this is the bike, do a stage 1, do Reinhardt's or tabs or whatever your favorite mufflers are, and I'll pick it up tomorrow, that kind of thing. So there's your stage 1. Stage 2 is my favorite. Stage 2 is cams, or a cam, depending on your motorcycle. Stage 2 is always done added on to stage 1. So you don't just do a cam and leave the stock intake. It's always like, you've done the intake, you've done the tune, you've done the pipes. Stage 2 is you now change out the cam or cam shafts in your motorcycle. This bike is a 2014. It is a twin cam 103. So stage 2 on it would be changing 2 cams, because there are 2 of them. Whereas, let's say my buddy Olaf's bike here, a 2020 Road Glide Special, has 1 cam in it because a Milwaukee 8 has a single camshaft in it. So you would be changing that out to something way more aggressive that changes the timing and duration on when the valves open and close, thus changing the sound of the motorcycle and getting a lot more power. I'm a stage 2 fanatic. I've done it a few times in life, but the bike that I own right now, or I'm sorry, my wife owns right now, it's Valentine's Day, I don't want her to stab me. Her 2019 CVO Road Glide is a stage 2. So this bike is running an SS high flow intake. It's running Tab Performance's head pipe under the stock shields, Tab Performance 5-inch 50 cals with zombie baffles, and it's tuned with a TTS tuner, which is a really good tuner that requires like a dyno and an expert tuner to get everything out of it. Stage 2 I love not just because you get probably 20 plus percentage more horsepower out of a bike when you go to stage 2. It's not crazy expensive. It can be, depending on the way you go at it, but you can just change the camshaft in the motorcycle. You can leave the stock oil pump, you can leave the stock cam plate, all that stuff, and just change the cam, the push rods, and then your labor, so you're looking at 5.7, call it 1,500, something like that. You could get a stage 2 out of a good dealer that's not gouging you for around 1,500 bucks. And what you get out of that, over your stage 1, is probably another 15-ish something percent horsepower. I mean, this guy is, from the factory's a 117, and I don't know, it was probably 90 something horse at the tire. Now with a stage 2 and a tune, it's about 120 horse and 123 pounds of torque. So a good output for the money invested. So there's your stage 2, is doing a cam job. Stage 3, some big old jugs. I can't resist. All right, so let me look at my Ultra Limited. So stage 1, intake, exhaust, and a tune, because the ECM's under the seat. Stage 2, changing out the cam. This guy is gonna get a stage 2, except I'm gonna do it this time, trying to figure this out. I've never actually done a stage 2 install myself, but I do other things. How bad could it be? Anyway, so I'm gonna do my own stage 2 eventually, but for right now, this is stock cam. It's in this guy. Stage 3 would be changing the jugs and pistons to a larger displacement, actually making this a larger motor. So this is a 114, and there are a million options. Literally, the sky's the limit. I could take this bike and put Harley Davidson's 131 kit in it, which would involve all the stages, because it would have a different cam and exhaust and and that would make this go from a 114 cubic inch motor to a 131 cubic inch motor. But there's a million aftermarket options. There's 124 kits, 128 kits. Was it T-Man? What is Cycle Fanatics running? T-Man 131? Is it a 131, but it's a T-Man kit? Yeah, so, that option. And those are typically better than Harleys in the horsepower and torque gains per dollar spent. Those aftermarket kits typically give you way more bang for the buck than Harleys do. Harley, however, is warranted and probably more reliable. Asterisk sort of comment here. All these stages, and this is going to piss some people off. Everything I do pisses people off. But all of these stages, every one of them decreases reliability. It just does. Maybe not stage 1, because you're just putting some more air in, getting some more air out, and then balancing the intake. Stage 1, you could argue that it increases reliability because the motor's not running so lean, which means lean means too much air. Not enough fuel, too much air. If a bike's running lean, it's running hot. So stage 1 might actually increase reliability. Stage 2, depending on how aggressive you go with the cam, it's going to decrease it a little bit because of the springs inside the motor, You're decreasing reliability a little bit. Stage 3, bigger jugs, more heat, more power, more stress on components, etc., etc. Stage 3 decreases reliability a little bit. If you want your bike to start and run every time, leave it alone. Just a side note there. Now, stage 4. Stage 4 is everything I just said plus head work. So your heads, lay your bike there. Basically, head work is, and I'm not an expert, it's basically honing out the heads to get better airflow, to get more in and more out more efficiently, to basically make the heads a little bit bigger, more bang. It's head work. What the hell do you want? Do you want graphics in a PowerPoint? What the hell? It's head work. And then stage 5 is typically doing all that just a little bigger. So even bigger cylinders, a stage 5 would be something like an S&S 128 kit with some sort of massive crazy heads on it. Moonshine makes their own heads now, I think. Big old throttle body, all kinds of stuff combined would be something you'd call stage 5. Very rarely does anyone refer to something as a stage 5 anymore, not since a twin cam. Good buddy of mine, Oxford, has a stage 5 in his Road Glide, but that's over the top stuff. Anyway, again, every bit further you go, you decrease reliability a little bit. Just reality, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. There's your biker basics, Harley basics sort of stuff for today. What are the stages? Again, if I said something you disagree with or something I agree with, it could happen. Comment down below. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. We are one of the only channels you're going to find on YouTube anymore that doesn't ask you for any money. We don't do memberships. We don't do Patreons. It's just us talking and BSing. So comment down below. Please hit the thumbs up. And let me know what other basic topics you want me to talk about. You can also email me. I'll put that here. Some people like to email rather than publicly ask a question. So my email is damonk, DAMONK, @professional-monkey.com. Any other basic topics you want to talk about. And we'll talk again real soon. Take care of each other. Bye.